Want to know how creators like Shivanshu Agarwal and Dhruv Rathi make such amazing story-heavy videos with some bomb B-rolls using AI to get consistent art through and through? This may not be how Sucheta Dalal looks. This may be. But why the similarity with Shreya Dhanvantri? Because this was the face used to create the artwork. Want to see some examples of me in action? These are all 100% AI generated. In fact, so is the thumbnail of this video. This can be notched up a bit more to create something like this. That's for all my bitch ass friends who think I don't know how to cycle. Damn! Thank you for checking out this video. I'm Nishant and I'm going to show you how you can create consistent, super photorealistic images of yourself or somebody else in various poses in darkness. Of course, there are a ton of wild use cases of something like this, right? I just talked about how so many of these epic creators use it in their videos. But think of any form of visual media. I remember back in the epic days when we were trying to create books and we were trying to figure out what is the best way to create consistent art without having to depend too much on artists. We explored a ton of different tools that could kind of help us keep that vibe going on through and through. And that becomes all the more important, say, when you're talking about a biographic kind of story or something based on actual true events. We'd have to rely on a full set of artists. If it's going to be in video form, probably even animators. And if it were for live action, then of course, an actual photo shoot. All that now possible in a single click. Just wild. Over the years, a ton of tools have come up that do an insane job. But with all the explorations that I've done thus far, these are some of the best ways to make this happen. So watch the video till the very end. So a lot of what we see in these tools is powered by Flux LoRa, which has then been adapted by other tools that build a little bit of a front end that makes it easier for us to use it. LoRa means low rank adaptation, which means it's able to generate with very little input. And that's the whole point, right? How can we make it easier to train a model with as limited input as possible so that creation becomes faster? So the cheapest and best way of accessing Flux directly is through Replicate. And in this video, like I said, I'm going to show you multiple ways by which you can do this. So we start on Replicate, which we can log in using our GitHub ID. Once we get in, what we need to look for is Flux Pulid, the one there by ByteDance. And what we need to do over here is just upload a single image of ourselves. That's it. That's all it takes. This is the image I'm choosing for myself for now, but very tiny changes that we can make. A quick prompt, so to say, right? Let me see. A cowboy holding a gun. And then let's go right down to the format, right? The rest of it I wouldn't tinker too much with. Of course, in terms of what each of these stand for and what kind of controls you want to give the AI, you can play with. But for now, let's just stick to, getting the output out to get a feeler of how this works, right? Get the PNG out and within a few seconds, you're going to get some images. And there you go. That's me in a cowboy avatar from the looks of it. In a very painting style. I guess if I prompted a little better, I could get things a lot more hyper-realistically. And that's me bald and old in a monastery. So that's what Flux Pulid could do with a single image. Now imagine if you could train it with multiple images, right? And that's where a data set of, say, even as small as 20-25 images comes in handy. And the gameplay is very similar, right? Again, you look for Ostris Flux Dev LoRa Trainer and upload a zip folder so that the model can be trained. This undoubtedly will give you much better output than what we just saw. But running Replicate could be a little bit of a challenge in India, especially with the auto debit kind of standing instructions that we need to set up because Replicate bills as per real-time usage. I had to make a trip to the bank, make sure that this merchant was approved so that the auto debit instructions can go through and then only I could use Replicate. And that took me a week and a half. And I was so desperate to figure out some alternative to do this much faster. And that's when I turned to Kria. So let me quickly show you how I went about it. And I kid you not, this was absolute halwa. Before that though, if you found this video useful, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I do a ton of these kind of breakdowns, introduce new AI tools that help you with your creative hustle. But onwards with Kria. So as you can see on logging in, again, powered by Flux, right? You can pick any of these various options that are there. Go straight into train And then as you can see over here, upload 3 or more images of the same style, face or object. And here of course we're trying to figure out consistent characters. I'm trying to figure out how I can get AI images generated of my own face. Basically the data set that I used earlier on Replicate is what I'm kind of putting in over here, and playing a little bit with some of the images that I've put, maybe the repetitive ones that I can eliminate, check if I have all the various perspectives that I need, and just making sure we're training it the right way. That's the name of the model. Choose Flux. And then some settings. I wouldn't tinker with too much over here, right? Just changing the trigger word to say something like Disu, because that now is the alias of my avatar. And train AI. This of course isn't happening for free. $10 is what it takes. And within 15 minutes of the model being trained, you can then put it into action and test what exactly comes out of it. So an Indian warrior ready to swing his sword. No, that sounds a little vulgar. Let's probably add a shield in there somewhere. And generate. Oh man, AI looks like it's got me doing some Nanga Nach over here. But yeah, that is my face as an Indian warrior with a shield and a sword, swinging it about. Not bad. Okay, let's try another. This was sitting at his study table and thinking what to do. Let's make it maybe a neonish kind of lighting, futuristic setting. Okay, style, and damn, that is pretty wild. That does look awfully similar to what this environment and setting around me at the moment looks like. And now all of a sudden it's just about your imagination and creativity that allows you to do whatever you want. Oh man, that's a pretty disturbing image. Something to keep in mind, because at the end of the day, that is the image that the model's been trained on. A lot of the faces in and around, especially in a crowd, also tend to take features from there. But all in all, that's how you make consistent characters and make sure you can get your story going, whether it's for a video, whether it's for a comic book, a motion comic, or just for kicks. This, if you want to notch up furthermore, then all you got to do is take this image to any image to video generator, say like a Helluo AI or even Kling AI. I intend to make a full-blown video on these two tools as well, so that you know exactly how you can go about using it and understand all the settings and options available. If you're looking for something like that, then do let me know in the comment section. And if you like this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Peace out. I'll see you in the next one.